Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Friday, January 20th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with legal news pertaining to Vince McMahon. The WWE Executive Chairman has settled out of court with Rita Chatterton, the former referee who accused McMahon of raping her in 1986, according to an exclusive report in the Wall Street Journal. The report indicates the settlement was finalized last month, with McMahon agreeing to pay Chatterton an amount less than the original $11.75 million in damages demanded in the lawsuit she filed last November. The payment is said to be composed of a lump sum up front, followed by annual installments similar to other settlements McMahon agreed to pay former WWE employees who accused him of sexual misconduct. Said McMahon's attorney Jerry McDevitt in a statement to the Wall Street Journal, quote, "Mr. McMahon denies and always has denied raping Mrs. Chatterton, and he settled the case solely to avoid the cost of litigation," end quote. Chatterton's lawsuit comes after a New York state law that waived the statute of limitations for sex crimes for a one-year period. The alleged rape was the subject of an article last June in New York Magazine by McMahon biographer Abraham Reisman, in which Chatterton spoke on the subject for the first time since publicly accusing McMahon during a 1992 appearance on the Geraldo Rivera talk show. In AEW news, the company was prevented from airing tributes to the late Jay Briscoe during Wednesday's live broadcast of AEW Dynamite on TBS by TBS parent company Warner Bros. Discovery, according to a report on Wrestling Observer Radio. It had previously been reported that Warner Bros. Discovery had prevented AEW from putting the Briscoe brothers on AEW television due to homophobic comments made years ago by Jay Briscoe, who passed away Tuesday evening in an auto accident near his home in Delaware. Although Briscoe had issued multiple public apologies in the years since, WBD remained firm in their stance. Aside from a graphic at the start of the show and a brief mention at the end of the show by Excalibur, no tribute was presented, despite Briscoe being signed to Ring of Honor owned by AEW owner Tony Khan. Tony Khan opted instead to record a Jay Briscoe tribute show following the live Dynamite at the Save Mart Center in Fresno, California Wednesday night, which Khan indicated would be made available for free on both ROH's Honor Club streaming platform and YouTube page. In ratings news, AEW Dynamite last Wednesday night was watched by an audience only slightly larger than last week, but still the largest total audience since the October 26th episode, according to Showbuzz Daily. A total of 969,000 people tuned in to TBS to see the show, just 2,000 more viewers than last week's edition. Nevertheless, the rating in the key 18 to 49 demographic was still down, coming in at .31 as compared to .33 for the last week, according to WrestleNomics. The rating translates to 402,000 viewers in the demo. Dynamite came in at number 3 in the cable top 150 for the week in the target demographic for the second week in a row. Meanwhile, the audience for NXT on Tuesday was down, drawing 600,000 viewers to USA Network, a drop of 100,000 viewers from last week's New Year's Evil episode, according to Showbuzz Daily. In the key demographic, the rating was .14, representing 183,000 viewers, and down from last week's .15 key demo rating. In some news from outside the ring, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Kevin Nash received a police wellness check earlier this week from officers of the Volusia County Sheriff's Department in Florida, according to a report yesterday from TMZ. The 63-year-old Nash was said by police to be doing all right. The wellness check came in response to comments made by Nash on a recent episode of his podcast, in which he discussed his difficulties coping with the loss of his son Tristan, and made remarks hinting at suicide. During the wellness check, Nash reportedly assured the officers that he had no plans to harm himself. After news of the wellness check broke, Nash issued a statement on Twitter to help further diffuse the situation and address concerned fans, writing, quote, "Everyone take a breath. Let's not take my biggest coping mechanism, sarcasm, and blow it out of proportion," end quote. Tristan Nash passed away last October of cardiac arrest at the age of 26. Former WWF and WCW World Champion Bret the Hitman Hart is opening a bar in his native Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Hart took to Twitter yesterday to announce that Hitman's Bar will be opening in the Stampede City next month. Grand opening details are expected soon. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
In more WWE news, Devon Dudley, real name Devin Hughes, was released from the company yesterday afternoon, according to a report from PW Insider. Hughes had been with WWE as a road agent and trainer since retiring from the ring in 2016. In a statement on Twitter, Hughes thanked Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and Paul Triple H Levesque, and closed with "Oh my brother, testify," the catchphrase he used during his many years teaming with Bubba Ray Dudley as the Dudley Boys tag team. And in some new signings, 2 new recruits have officially reported to the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, according to a PW Insider report. One is Ezekiel Balagon, a 6'6", 265-pound former basketball player from Lagos, Nigeria, who played NCAA college ball at the University of North Florida. The other is Alexis Gray, a former track and field athlete from the Bahamas who competed at Texas Southern University. They are both among the next full class of Performance Center trainees, which is reportedly expected to be announced soon. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.